Tried hooking it up to the 165, and this thing runs it great. I mean, granted, I mowed just 2 little strips here because it's supposed to rain today. But boy, no struggling. It felt smooth as can be. So the drawbar is a little low on it. That's the only thing. I've had to sort of try to split the difference for both tractors. And I can't raise the drawbar because the PTO is already pretty low on that. The clearance is a little tight, but I could always take that PTO stand off. But that's encouraging. I mean, I don't want to keep changing too many variables as far as getting this thing dialed in, but I am pretty hopeful to be able to do a lot of mowing with the 165. Well, it's an improvement. Not an unmowed strip, but a little bit higher stubble on this side. So I raised it up a little bit, did more flotation. I'm gonna try temporarily putting the outside of that tarp up, see if that makes a difference. All right, that'll be an experiment. Taping that up, because you're still getting this little bit of trample that's then going under the wheel. It is better, so we'll see. All right, we're getting like 5 or 6 inch stubble, so that's a little higher than I want it. And directly behind the cutter bar, you got some grass that's been, I suppose, mowed a bit, but also still the trample. And you look at this piece, it's overlapped by a good few inches from where the blade should be. And then, yeah, the tire is squishing it sideways a little bit. So here's the mower stopped mid-cut here. And you can see where the end of the blade arc was, but then there's grass all the way over to here that's not getting mowed. That's on the inside of this pass. So something about this is not allowing the blade to actually cut it. I don't know, this tarp is weighing things down too much. I might try, I don't want to keep removing tarps, but at least to see if this thing works. It's frustrating. Okay, next thing to try. See if that does anything. Another 2 or 2.5 acre field down. This one's also new, along with the other 2 that I'm just doing over there. Still having some stripping problems with the mower. I actually took off the outer curtain, adjusted the flotation, tried tons of overlap, and it's still happening. Other than that, it's working great. I mean, I knocked this thing down in well under an hour, even stopping and tinkering with it. But, you know, that edge of the field is wet. It's my first time doing the field. I only fertilized kind of where I knew it was dry. It drops off there a little. So it's a little ferny, a little swampy in there. We'll see if we can get a baler through it and probably bale that whole third of the field separately. No sense giving people swamp grass and calling it good hay, but the rest of it's really nice. So here's the experiment on these 3 fields. I mowed this one and that one last night around 6. Tedded this one out, did not ted that one out, and just mowed that one this morning. And we're gonna see how they all kind of compare. Even between these 2, I mean, tedding it last night, we got less than 1/10 of an inch of rain. This is already drying a lot better than that field looks like it does. So again, without a conditioner, I think a prompt tedding pays dividends. Revamped the shield for the mower. I don't know if you remember, this one used to come all the way down around the fender because it was for the old 3-point hitch mower. And I was having a heck of a time looking through one and then perpendicular through another one that was right about here. So That's a little better. Done tedding at the other fields. Swapping tractors. Well, still gonna keep tedding with this tractor, but ted with this and then bring that one back and maybe bale some of the other one. Started mowing this 6 hours ago. Tedded it out hard right away and just did a light tedding to fluff it up because I've got to go focus on the other field. But this field is just magic. Realize this is my 11th year doing it and 22nd cutting because I got 3 cuttings on it last year. I got a slight jump on these 3 fields by baling the 2 smaller ones here. But boy, we got 72 on that. Acre, maybe a little more than an acre, and only 52 off of this, I think 0.8. So yields are definitely still low. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the stuff looks a lot thicker in that other 2 acre piece for tomorrow. So anyway, it's been kind of fun to rake with the 275. It doesn't happen super often, but with the tractor split and this one doing the baling on these fields anyway. Hoping to get back to baling with the 165, but it needs new tires before I'll take that up to steep hills. Anyway, flopping this over. Time to go rake the other field. Got the 3 wagons staged and put the baler on when I come back. There's some hay here. Methinks it's about 1 o'clock. I'm gonna pop off to go bale the other field and we'll see. Hopefully I have time to come and at least put a wagon together here. And it certainly looks ready, so we'll see. 99 on that wagon. I'll try to see if I can fit the rest on one, but it might get a little tight. 82 here, partially stacked because I did those outside kind of wetter windrows and stacked them in the back. Still puts this field a little bit under yield, even though windrows look pretty thick, but this field's 2 acres, maybe a little more. It was hard to know exactly where to plunk the boundary when I was measuring it with maps. So yeah, anyway, I'll take it. So close. The moisture meter is saying fine, like 11 to 13, maybe 14%, but there is just enough stem moisture that I don't want to rush this. You know, I don't think it would heat. I think it would just get a little bit of a musty funk, and this stuff is way too nice for that. Problem is tomorrow now might be overcast, says everybody, and with a slight chance of showers. If I was keeping this stuff for me or had enough barn space, that'd be one thing, but this is going to neighbors right next door, and I'm not about to fill their barn with stuff that I'm not 100% sure about. So, is what it is. That's the hay game. And now we wait. The humidity really picked up. I got the other wagons unloaded for some off-wagon folks. Put maybe 100 bales or so in the barn, including the 50 from here. See how they do. I think there might be just too much stem moisture that we'll see if they start getting a little bit musty. I'll watch them. Yeah, right now the forecast for tomorrow might be a bit cloudier. I guess it's going to be super humid, but maybe wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour. So if we can get these things flipped over, fluffed up, and the rain holds off, we'll see what we can get tomorrow. We missed wall of rain number 1. Wall of rain number 2 is about in Albany, headed this way, but is already kind of peeking out. So hopefully it'll dissipate, hit the Berkshires, and break up. But anyway, we're gonna keep staging stuff, get things ready, flop the windrows over, see what we can do. Here's the first field though. It's already bouncing back. Need to get some fertilizer down on this. It's a circus. The breeze is nice, but this is supposedly all the sun we're gonna get today. Luckily the dew wasn't too heavy. I do think the stuff cured a little bit overnight. Center of the windrows are definitely damp, and this stuff's so thick, the center of these rows are pretty dense. So I'm gonna tease them really, really lightly apart and then see if this next wall of rain around Albany actually hits us or not. Looks like it might be splitting up, going south, dissipating. Yeah, we'll see. There's a nice breeze right now, really nice breeze. And I can smell that the center of these rows is just slightly damp. It's got that morning smell to it, even though the tops are completely dry. So, I don't know. I know I've talked around this a million times. People always wonder what the heck I'm doing. But, being nice and gentle. And again, 2 rows at once. Still see my windrows. I'll rake it after, well, hopefully after these storms blow past us and not over us. So, one good wagon. All the moisture was, you know, right around 11 to 14%, totally fine. Suddenly on this one, it started spiking up to 14, 15, 16, 17, couple 18. The life of me, I can't figure out if it's just the sudden humidity, even though we've got a nice breeze. The hay feels perfectly cured in this batch, but it's sponging too much air moisture. So I'm gonna go park this under cover. Yeah, if I had the space to just keep parking wagons, I'd bale up the rest of this, but I bet you there's another, I don't know, 40, 50 bales there that I just don't have. I don't have a place to be messing around with them like this. So chance of rain tonight, maybe chance of rain tomorrow, but also sun tomorrow. I'm just gonna split my difference here. It's not efficient, but it is what it is. Okay, it's the next day. We got a 1/20th of an inch of rain about an hour ago. Just enough to soak everything without being at all helpful to our lack of rain around here. But I knew that was a chance. This stuff, you'll see if the way underneath is actually, oh yeah, look it, you get down to the bottom and it's actually not wet. It's a little damp, but not as wet as the top. So I am just gonna let these windrows air dry for the afternoon. Probably tet them out later. The sun's supposed to come out. Oh, there's probably only 40 bales left here anyway. And in the meantime, go start mowing natural roots. Hope to start with a 6-acre piece if everything mows well. It's pretty flat. I think it's a time to put the mower on the 165 and see how that does. See if that, I don't know, through changing some random variable helps to solve the strip problem. Well, the 165 ran that mower like a champ. Still having streaking problems. I was really hoping, because this tractor's actually got a better float for the hydraulics. Actually, it's questionable whether the 275 even has a float, because it sounds like it works even when you lock the lever in. But that wasn't solving it. And I really took my time on this. I tried just about every combination of float and height that I could with an acceptable stubble. Nothing, no difference. I was really hopeful. I backed it all the way out. Flotation's 1 through 7 on that thing. 1's the lightest, 7's the heaviest. I tried 1. I tried to see about making it really light would help. Nope. Then I tried 6. I didn't quite dare 7 because 6 was pretty heavy because you can lift up in the other end of that cutter bar. And had to readjust the height each time I changed the flotation. But that didn't do anything either. I was hopeful at first, but then you hit these spots with strips. And yeah, I could actually feel the tractor working a little harder to pull it. So that wasn't the answer. So I put it back to how I started. And that half of the field's a lot shorter. It's really sandy down there. And it's funny, that back corner is like second cut almost with seed heads. And I mowed that fine. So that's reassuring that at least second cut should be okay. And yeah, it has something to do with the really, really thick, tall grass. Actually, probably more tall than thick. I don't know. Nice little combo though. lightly tedded this out after getting rained on yesterday. Did that at like 5 p.m. with the wind blowing all night. It's dry as can be. I'm just gonna rake it and maybe even bale it before noon. We'll see. Color doesn't look too bad on it considering 0.05 inches. I don't know if you want to call that a 20th or half a 10th inch of rain. The bottoms of the windrows weren't even damp yesterday. So yeah, not a loss. Well, just dumb luck that I discovered this with enough time to hopefully do something about it. I'd much rather replace this and make sure it works on this little batch before trying 500 to 600 bales for natural roots in a couple days, hopefully. So yeah, you know, I went and I have some high tensile wire, although this looks woven. I also have some woven stuff, but that seems too bendable. I don't know, we'll see. Got to measure this, remember where I have it set, loosen the tension, slide these out, slip something new in. Hopefully it'll go fine. Well, I'm sure plenty of you have had to do this before, but I actually never have. I know I've certainly adjusted the tension on the belts, but I've never had to rethread one of these. So I had to loosen those 2 bolts on both sides for the piece that holds the bearing, back off on these. Actually, I had to take off a bolt that was in the way for the shield. Oh, getting too close, sorry. So we'll see if I have to take more tension off, but hopefully okay. Breeze is still nice. Sun keeps peeking through, but it's barely 60 degrees today. It's ridiculous. Oh well, could be worse. Well, that's a pretty wimpy piece of wire holding this thing together, if you ask me. I think, yeah, all the things I brought ought to be better than that. We'll see, though. All right, there we have it. Hopefully, I'd call that an upgrade. It seems like better wire than was in there. And, you know, it's funny. I noticed some of these bolts, like this one was on the other way around. You've got these tension things with the end of the thread there versus down here. So even though this thrower was in immaculate shape when I got it, I wonder if somebody's already had this apart a few times. And makes me wonder if that wire that was in there is even original or not. It's the same on both. So if somebody replaced it, they did it on both. It's funny, it's got the plastic coating. So anyway, that was like 20 minutes. Not too bad. So far, so good. Traveling off center a little bit. You'll have to adjust that. Right now, what I got Well, I wasn't expecting 65, but yeah, I'll take that. Came together pretty well. I think most of the color loss is honestly from being out, you know, I mowed this on Tuesday and it's Saturday, so this stuff sat out for quite a while and got sun bleached. But you know, you get up close and it's not half bad. In fact, I had a bale that was half and half and there wasn't that much color difference between the two. So the folks that are next door are happy to take this, even with that little bit of rain. Yeah, so weird way to do this field. Mowed, actually, shucks, I think I mowed this Monday or Tuesday. I'm losing track. Well, at least what I was smelling wasn't the truck, and at least the wagon's empty. But got a little bit of a rotten stringer that's now popped down past the running gear. Oh, these wagons are cheap and old. I'm just gonna jack it up, throw a board under that, screw it together, and see if it'll go around a few more fields. Beautiful morning with no dew. It's about 10:30. Could have gotten out here a little earlier. I'm gonna re-rake and flop these windrows over, get the bottom little bit of moisture off, and probably start baling by noon if we can. Not too sure just how much I've talked about this arrangement here for this field in particular, and the ones through the woods. I belong to Natural Roots, which is a wonderful horse-powered organic vegetable farm in town. Been a long time CSA members there. And yeah, they do everything with draft horses. And for the longest time, they made all their own hay with the horses, did it loose, had a loose loading system. And as they've expanded vegetable production, they sort of realized something had to give. So they've brought me in to make their hay for them for the past 4 years, I think. Maybe this is the 4th year. I'd have to double check the math on that. Maybe it's the 5th year. And so, yeah, so I come in, lay down usually more hay at once than I do on my own, because they've got a whole crew of people to unload bales, and they come with the team of horses and grab the wagons, bring them to the barn. That's literally over the river and through the woods. And works pretty nicely. So it's barely noon. Gonna have some lunch, try to get the Baler's knotters greased, because the grease circ on that is in one of 2 positions depending where the knotters land, and I missed it the last time, so I'll take the time to get that switched around, get that greased, double check a couple things, and then I think we'll have at it. They still have to come get the elevator, so it'll be a little bit before they're ready. Wagon number 4 and got our first empty back. It's going pretty smoothly. Wagon 5. Guess we're gonna start number 6. Gets pretty thin in there. So my guess is we won't quite have a full 6th wagon. There goes the last load. Almost 6 full wagons. 555 is what the counter said, and it's been pretty accurate. So yeah, that's actually not bad for these 6 acres, especially given how sort of thin and second cut like it was in that far corner. Oh, it was nice to bail with the 165. It's been a little while. All right, getting some fertilizer down today. Back at the home fields with the 135. Just putting urea down on these based on the soil tests. I had to figure out where to cut a couple corners of fertilizer this year, given the whole cost. These fields have gotten really good fertility for quite a while, and I'm planning on liming them this fall. So that'll free up some other nutrients too for next year. So we'll test next year and see if I undercut the fields a little. Well, regrowth so far without rain, without fertilizer, looks encouraging. It's going to be a while yet before I'm back to this field, so ones on this side of town hopefully look good. All right, all done on this end of town. Only those 3 fields. The smallest one I didn't put fertilizer down on, so I may not actually bother with second cut. Got the spreader in the truck. Drop that by where the other tractors are. Go get another load and hopefully spread that. I've got a whole bunch of, well, really light rain just to the west of us, moving from the north, which is a little odd. But yeah, any luck, we'll get it all down. Nice regrowth already here. It's only been 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 weeks. Keep forgetting to film while I'm actually fertilizing, but switch tractors zipping around from field to field. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some rain. It's nice to have a helper from the negative first generation. Even though we just took hay off this field, it's already starting to green up, so we're gonna get fertilizer down before this rain, because who knows what else we're gonna get. there it sits till I need it again. Still got a lot of space in this barn. I'm sure we'll fill it eventually soon. Eventually soon? I don't know.